if you haven't heard of this, that's pretty weird. But, just in case, this game is, at least in my opinion, a very big piece of video game history. Maybe not in the same way that something like Doom Eternal or Dark Souls or Portal is a big piece of video game history. This isn't some big production that had a revolutionary soundtrack or anything like that. In fact, I think the only thing in this soundtrack is moany, windy noises and Bennett Foddy trolling you. But because this is probably the most famous period, what some people would call a streamer bait game, which is just a game that its appeal is almost, it's very fun to watch people react to it, or very fun to watch people play. Probably way more so than it is to actually play. And Markiplier, I know it's kind of cheesy to refer to Markiplier, but made some big YouTube history using this game, where he got extremely frustrated and did some things that were probably played up quite a bit. But if this game wasn't as frustrating as it was, he may not have been able to quite play it up as much. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like if you increase the speed limit by 10 miles per hour, the people who are speeding will continue to, if you increase the speed limit from 65 to 75, people who are speeding going 80 will now speed going 90, right? It's that kind of thing where, yes, you played it up, but there's some threshold as to how much people can naturally play something up. Anyway, I'm going to make an attempt at this. I don't really know how this is going to go. I'm just going to try it and see what happens. I would think that I would have done my homework by playing Sexy Hiking beforehand, for which I did, and in my fourth and final attempt, I got through the whole game in about 24 minutes. Which isn't really that good, but, you know, it's a completion, right? And so hopefully that will help me out. But who knows? Let's see. Mouse, right? Okay, I think this is all mouse. Now, from watching footage of this, it's been many years since I watched footage of the entire game, but I have watched footage of the entire game. This is obviously not a blind Let's Play. It's been years since I've done that. I've seen sort of highlights and bits and pieces recently, so I do have some recent reference. Something I did notice, though, when I recently was watching footage of Getting Over It, was unlike Sexy Hiking, where you can push the hammer through the midline, through the midpoint of the body. This guy, he can get the hammer only about, 3/8 of a hammer length from the center of his body and no closer. So there's this donut-shaped regime, sort of like, has a certain thickness that the hammer can exist in. Now, it does go 360 around, and to do that, his hand kind of phases through the hammer handle right there. In order to make that happen. So that greatly restricts, it's going to make things somewhat more difficult. It might actually be a blessing in a weird way, because the punching down at things from above my head that I was doing in Sexy Hiking, which I don't think I necessarily needed to do to get the hop, was that whole motion was somehow psyching me out. That motion didn't really sit well with my brain, and I was making a bunch of stupid mistakes, right? Whereas here, you can only punch from this high, and that is, the mechanics limit you to that. So now, what I just noticed there was quite disturbing because I thought I punched straight up, and the guy moved several yards, approximately, to the right. So I don't like that right off the bat. Right? I was trying to go straight up. I was not trying to go several yards to the right. Let's try punching downwards again. Okay, that's better. Try it again. Okay, again. Okay, I think one more time. Do 5 times in a row, close to straight down. And then one more. Okay, so it seems like I've
feeling more intense than starting over. If you deleted your homework the day before it was due, as I have, or if you left your wallet at home and you have to go back after spending an hour in the commute.
I want to talk over you because you're boring. Everyone knows what this. Everyone's watched other people play this. Everybody knows what he says.
If you got your best shirt dry cleaned before a wedding and then immediately dropped food on.
So.
If you want an argument with a friend.
So that was rather abrupt. Yeah, the motion's naturally rather abrupt.
Starting over is harder than starting up. If you're not ready for that, like if you've already had a bad day, then what you're about to go through might be too much. Feel free to go away and come back. I'll be here.
So the vert motions are very jerky. Okay, that's something to note. It's very rapid and jerky. Okay, we're going to remove contact. See, it's very jerky. So I'll work on slowing this down. Oh, there's interesting. The collision is kind of World's Hardest Game-ish, right? There's a little bit of a, like the branch can kind of go into the cauldron a bit, but I have to push away to get up and over the branch. Okay. And then I gotta poke into the top here and just kind of fling myself over because, you know, whatever, right? Okay. So we're gonna punch and then hook on. Okay, that's very abrupt. I don't like how abrupt that is, but whatever. Can I pull in? Yes, I can. But it doesn't like to. It's kind of resistant to the idea. Okay, who cares? I see how people get really sloppy with this
Thanks
now.
for coming with me on this trip. I'll understand if you have to take a break at any point. Just find a safe place to stop and quit the game. And don't worry, I'll save your progress, always. Even your mistakes.
Okay, so I'm so used to sexy hiking, I'm going like this, right? Ready to punch down from above, but like I can't. I have to like squeeze it in like this, right? So we're going to do a straight up punch, and hook, right? Oddly, so there's a bunch of like lack of friction here. Okay, punch, hook, okay. So I basically hooked too hard. So there's this idea of if you fall on it too quickly, it will go to kinetic friction and then you don't latch on. That's interesting. Very well done, Vinit Fadi. Nice attention to detail.
This game is a homage to a free game that came out in 2002 titled Sexy Hiking. The author of that game was Jazuo, a mysterious Czech designer who was known at the time as the father of B games. And B games are rough assemblies.
This is really frustrating with your trolley dialogue. I'm trying to think about how to do the next part and you're distracting me.
They're often too rough and unfriendly to gain much of a following. They're built more for the joy of building them than as polished products.
Okay, so I don't think there's enough friction, of course, to grab onto the apex of the roof. So I'm just going to go for the side of the roof. Which, looking at this looks like the actual collision is on the silhouette of the terrain, which makes this kind of like a piece of modern art, because the collision, the points that have collision, will probably completely ignore the perspective of that house, right? There's like part of the house that's closer to you and part of it that's further away, but that doesn't matter.
Oh, no.
Okay. Can I do a broad and circular? No, because he's too aggressive. Like, okay, so the aggressiveness of the mechanics makes it hard to do a broad and circular.
No.
Are there these little voice lines? No. No. Nope. Nuh-uh. So basically, last time I hit too vertical, and I want to hit more to the right. Okay, so I'm going to punch more to the right. That's what everyone does. They just fall right into that hole. Onto that rusty car, I guess? I forgot what bitrate I'm recording this at. This might be recorded at a super low bitrate. In which case, I'm sorry. Well, there's enough friction on this pipe, so I will utilize said pipe friction.
In a certain way, Sexy Hiking is the perfect embodiment of a B game. It's built almost entirely out of found and recycled parts, and it's one of the most unusual and unfriendly games of its time. In it, your task is simply to drag yourself up a mountain with a hammer.
I disagree
That
with
act of
you.
climbing,
There's
in the digital
only
world or in real
two
life,
parts.
has
There's
certain
only
essential
3
properties
parts
that
in
give the
Sexy
game its
Hiking.
flavor.
There are the
No amount of
squares,
forward progress is guaranteed.
there are the tree
Some cliffs
pieces,
are too sheer or too
and
slippery,
there are the ropes.
and the player is constantly, unremittingly.
I wouldn't call that a pile of recycled parts. Unless 3 makes a pile. Kind of stretching the analogy to make this game like more like it. Okay, so I want to punch almost straight up, and then of course hook onto the ledge. Those little voice lines, Why? Why do those have to exist? I could just play this game with its sound muted. Okay, so the coffee cup is there just to annoy you, right? So I do another punch and hook. Punch and hook. Well, okay, I hooked a little bit high, which is to my detriment. Okay, that was too high. That was too high a hook. Grip him low. Okay, punch and... Oh, wait, I forgot that has enough friction. You can just hammer it. Okay, this has sufficient friction. Just grab it. Oh. Well, if you get on up close enough to the apex of this windshield... Yes. I'll just punch and hook this. Punch and hook. Okay. That wasn't too hard a punch and hook. Come on.
If you need to take a break, it's okay. I've saved your progress.
Yeah, but I'm doing a recording here. The recording can't just be 15 minutes long, sir. Okay. So we're going to do sort of a lighter punch and a hook. Punch. Whoa. Appears I am not very good at controlling my punch height. Punch. Well, if you really want to punch all the way up to one platform further, fine. Punch that high, but... I mean... Well, that was kind of sloppy, but it worked. Okay. Punch and hook. Okay. I was trying to do a few minutes ago. Okay, this is an oblique kind of angle here. You gotta punch kind of the wrong direction.
Anyway, when you start sexy hiking, you're standing next to this dead tree that blocks the way to the entire rest of the game. It might take you an hour to get over that tree. and a
That
lot
would
of
be
people
pathetic.
Never got past it. You prod and you poke at it, exploring the limits of your reach and your strength, trying to find a way up and over. And there's a sense of truth in that lack of compromise. Most obstacles in video game worlds are fake. You can be completely confident in your ability to get through them once you have the correct method or the correct equipment or just by spending enough time. In that sense, every pixelated obstacle in sexy hiking is real.
That's an exaggeration. The tree at the beginning of Sexy Hiking is trivial. In case you are wondering. He's putting a little bit of fiction into his, commentary there. He's kind of playing it up for poetic effect or whatever nonsense. No, it's not like I'm really great at games or anything. It is trivial for you to do. Whoa! That's the spirit of getting over it right there. That's how this goes. I could have just dropped right into it, but my hammer was down. I didn't get my hammer back up in time. Okay. Misaimed that one. Misaimed it badly. Okay. So if I end up on top of it, I just get my hammer out of the way. Whoops. That's called the push thing. It's rather unfortunate. The push thing is when you try to hook onto something, but you go for the hook too early. And so instead of hooking on, you just push yourself away from it real hard and lose a bunch of progress. That's something from Sexy Hiking that I had to experience. There we go. Oh, I was sloppy with that, but I didn't fall, so... This is not a good example, though. If I'm sloppy like that in the future, I will fall. Okay. So it looks like a lot of the struggle here comes from the that rock on the upper left there. That you can actually accidentally hit with your hammer. Or you could be afraid you're going to hit it with your hammer, go for the hook too early, and push yourself away. One or the other. I'll just go for it. But that's the danger here. Is like, there's a fear either direction. Okay, can I reach this with a hammer? I could if I was a little closer to the edge. Okay, I'm trying to decide whether to go right or go left. Like, I don't have this memorized or anything. I'm going to try going left first, because let's see what happens.
The obstacles in Sexy Hiking are unyielding, and that makes the game uniquely frustrating. But I'm not sure Jazzuo intended to make a frustrating game. The frustration is just essential to the act of climbing, and it's authentic to the process of building a game about climbing. A funny thing happened to me as I was building.
Is that the inspiration for a difficult game about climbing?
I'd have an idea for a new obstacle, and I'd build it.
This whole game is actually.
And it would usually turn out to be unreasonably hard. But I couldn't bring myself to make it easier. It already felt like my inability to get past the new obstacle was my fault as a player rather than as a builder. Imaginary mountains build themselves from our efforts to climb them. And it's our repeated attempts to reach the summit that turns those mountains into something real.
No, I disagree. Anyway, so this, I presume that beam doesn't have enough friction, and so you have to, like, climb it kind of fast, right? You have to grab it and go and go and go. So that's my... I'm just going to assume that that's the case and try it right off the bat, I guess. I psyched myself out there. That was not what I was trying to do. That wasn't what I was trying to do either. I was just trying to get on this. Okay. Punch. Hook. Oh yeah, there's a friction problem. Okay. Go.
Oh, you just lost a lot of progress. That's a deep frustration, a real punch in the gut.
So, okay, so you can end up getting launched over that by means of, in your attempts to grab on to the beam, you push yourself way up in the air. Okay. Well, I don't know how exactly I get around that pickle, but I'll figure something out. I hate how it throws you all the way in this corner, and then you have to like work your way onto the hood top, or the car top there. Okay. Then punch and hook. That was the sloppiest, most half of my butt punch and hook ever. It's like, I'll have you know, Bennett Foddy, that at work this week, my day job, my hard drive crashed on my computer, and I lost some stuff. Talking about losing some progress. Now, I didn't actually lose like the main task I was working on because we had remote backups. What I lost was like little tools that I made personally for myself that made my job easier to now have to rewrite essentially, and some notes, and that's pretty much it. I have failed. This is a fail. I can't work. Why? Yes, I can. Okay. That was spooky. Oops. Okay, whatever you want to do. Okay, so here I am here again. Somehow don't, like, launch yourself super, like, backwards. Somehow. Okay. So, let's punch. Ugh. I think once I get to the rock, I should be good. It's just the beam that you have to be really careful of. Okay. Ready, 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 and go around. Go around. Go around. Okay. Not as hard as I thought. So here we punch and hook onto the light, right? So let's just do it. Punch. Oh, my range of motion is too large. Oh, this is gonna make this all messy.
When you're building a video game world, you're building with ideas. And that can be like working with quickset cement. You mold your ideas into a certain shape that can be played with, and in the process of playing with them, they begin to harden and set until they're immutable, like rock. And at that point, you can't change the world, not without breaking it into pieces and starting fresh with new ideas.
Okay. Punch. It's like I have to like maneuver within. Be very sexy hiking about the way I control the hammer. Very internal to the center of mass. Maybe just start from below that. It gives me options, right? Okay. Oh, there's flex in the hammer. Oh. Okay. To resist the violence. Okay. I guess that rock's primary purpose seems to be ignoring me when I try to turn my hammer over. I love how this guy has a buzz cut is barely any hair, because if he did have hair, then Bennett thought he would have to animate the hair. Or add hair physics, and that's just too complicated. Like, just imagine, like, these big flowing locks, just, like, swinging around. It's the part where I sort of, like, don't care anymore. Just, like, get your butt up there. If he has a butt, that is. Might be that the cauldron just stores, like, his organs in the bottom part of his torso. It's just his skin. It's just, like, attached. Oh no. Oh no, you don't. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. There we go. tried to like really launch up, and in doing that I like dislodged the hammer from the light. It's like I got stuck. I can't work myself back up from this position because the cauldron is stuck in that like notch there. Oh. Up. Ah, but it's stuck in the notch again. I can't. Ah. Why can't that wall be smoother on the left and rougher on the right? But there's no notch there, is there? No, it just sinks in. There's no, like, I can't... Ugh. That's why I always have a very sensitive mouse when I play video games. Is, you know, I try to avoid having to move my mouse like a lot, like reset the mouse position. But man, I've had to do it so many times during this game. I must want to make my mouse more sensitive. Oh. Okay, do I have enough space to turn the hammer? The friction is quite low, but I think I can make it. Okay, then we just do a typical punch and hook. Punch and hook.
For years now, people have been predicting that games would soon be made out of prefabricated objects, bought in a store and assembled into a world. And for the most part, that hasn't happened, because the objects in the stores are trash. I don't mean they look bad or that they're badly made, although a lot of them are. I mean they're trash in the way that food becomes trash as soon as you put it in the sink. Things are made to be consumed and used in a certain context, and once the moment is gone, they transform into garbage. In the context of technology, those moments pass by in seconds.
Well, that's mercifully long there. Okay. I don't know if Bennett Foddy intended for that to be a thing.
No.
Gotta be a little more methodical. So, shelf. Angle hanger. Well. Floor break. Angle hanger. That. Floor break.
Over time, we've poured more and more refuse into this vast digital landfill that we call the internet. It now vastly outnumbers and outweighs the things that are fresh and untainted and unused. When everything around us is cultural trash, trash becomes the new medium, the lingua franca of the digital age. And you can build culture out of trash, but only trash culture. Be games, be movies, be music, be philosophy.
Okay, that's nice. So this is nice that unlike sexy hiking, you don't have to like hold down right click. You can just do the thing.
Maybe this is what digital culture is. A monstrous mountain of trash, the ash heap of creativity's fountain. A landfill with everything we ever thought of in it. Grand, infinite, and unsorted.
Oh, I was about to hit that roof. Oh, that would have been a big mess. Okay, well. This is a weird hand position I'm in here. Yeah, this part kind of lulls you
There's
into...
3D models of breakfast. Gen X's fanfic novels, scan magazines, green screen Shia LaBeouf, banned snuff scenes on LiveLeak. Facebook's got lifelike bots with unbranded adverts and candid shots of Kanye and Taylor Swift mashups, car crash epic failed GIFs, Russian dashcam vids, discussions of McRibs, discarded, forgotten, unrecycled, muddled, rotten, untitled.
Lulls you into like complacency, and then if you drop through here, you're one step away from dropping all the way back down to the beginning. So, okay, yeah, I can get on the grill. I'd be cooking. And the idea is just to punch my way all the way to the other side of this gap. So, I'm gonna go for this punch and hope it works. Punch! And whoop! Well, that's nightmarish. Let's punch and hook back up to the grill. What else can I do?
Everything's fresh for about 6 seconds, until some newer thing beckons, and we hit refresh. And there's years of persevering, disappearing into the pile, out of style, out of sight.
Well, if you can keep the money, though. I presume I try to grab onto this tire thing somehow. Wheelbarrow thing. Oh, this is just really sketchy. Oh, man, I have to like do a broad and circular, which is much more difficult in this game than sexy hiking up to that green rake, I guess. Off that tip of that wheelbarrow, up to the broad and circular to the green rake. And if I fail, I fall all the way back down to the beginning! Yeah! Okay, if I remember correctly from watching other people play Getting Over It, I need to go to the pile of boxes over there to my right. And if I fail, I drop all the way back down to the beginning. May notice a bit of a theme here. Okay. 1. No. 3, 2, 1. Punch!
In this context, it's tempting to make friendly content that's gentle, that lets you churn through it but not earn it. Why make something demanding if it just gets piled up in the landfill, filed in with the bland things?
Yes, this is terrifying. This is terrifying. This is terrifying. This is terrifying! Terrifying! Come on. Use your lats. Come on. Be subtle. Move small amounts. Control. Maturity. Central nervous system. Okay. I'm greatly looking forward to this part. So, I presume I punch and hook. But because there's this weird periodic pattern to these stairs, like, I assume when I try to attempt this hook, it's just gonna descend into utter chaos. But we'll see. Three, 2, 1, punch! Ah!
Sorry about that.
Well, I've experienced the experience now. That was all on me. That was purely my fault. Like, I did this little extra hammer twitch, and it knocked me back like crazy. Okay. Punch! Okay, broad and circular onto that rake. And we did that broad and circular up to that rake last time, and just everything just went chaotic. Hopefully I can do things a little bit more controlled this time. Okay, so grab, grab, and then we're gonna do a broad and circular. Still got chaotic. I don't know why it goes to chaos. Three, 2, 1, punch! and then I just kind of dangle off the edge again.
Oh, it happened again. Keep on trying. Don't let it get to you.
I don't know. I really messed that one up somehow. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Punch! Well, that was convenient. That was kind of merciful. Okay, I don't know if I need a countdown for this time because, well, I realized I'm very good at this punch. Just go for it. You don't even have to, like, hook because I can punch so far I can just land on the boxes. Okay, I have to somehow not mess up this part. Stretch. Okay. So it looks like hooking onto that bottom shelf there is better than not. Okay, because I got a pretty deep grab into this. I can set myself down. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Punch!
This thing that we call failure is not the falling down, but the staying down. Mary Pickford.
I always expect there to be a floor where that fence is, but there isn't. It just drops down. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Punch! I guess I need to get further to the... I need either further to the right on the grill so I have more to punch off of. I literally just mouse swiped. If you're not familiar with getting over it, which is odd because pretty much all of you probably will be, if you mess up that one catch on that piece of concrete traffic divider, you go down to the beginning. That's like the last straw right there. But it's merciful. It gives you one extra catch. I will say good. Okay. Punch! Okay. Broad and circular. Okay, so go more, yeah, right there. That gives me more to punch off of. And I can just really punch!
You're back here again, showing patience, and then attacking, scraping, then flapping and snagging.
For context that Bidit Foddy would not know, I took that's kind of personal. I have a kind of a tick, like, it's not literally a tick, but it's kind of the same idea thing that my family calls flapping. Punch! Okay. And I got deep in there. Got deep inside. Okay. Here we go again. Three, two, one, punch! Is this gonna get me copyright claimed? I'm sort of oddly paying attention to this because the only like 50s, 60s country I'm familiar with is on the Columbia Country Classics volumes. And this isn't on this isn't on any of them. Punch! Oops. Broad and circular. That was a lot of money in those days, though. Okay, broad and circular. Whoopsies. To pull more down and less like... I know I said broad and circular, but the broad and circular I think should be modified, where the motion of the hammer after the pull up is broad and circular, but the pulling up should be more vertical. I think my cue is getting me a little bit off here, right? I want to pull more up, and then broad, yeah, and then you broad and circular onto the grab of the rake, but the pull, vertical pull, yeah. Yeah, okay, now I'm getting that back. This has been an hour, though, so I'm going to have to quit recording quick soon because I have other stuff I need to do today besides play Getting Over It. Well, I'll keep that in mind for next time because I'm probably going to fail on the stairs many times. And so I'm going to have to do that part many times, so I'm going to get very consistent at it. Bah! Okay, so spread out arms long, long arms long, 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 long. And then I want to catch on the shelf. And that somehow swings me in and gives me a nice deep grip. Okay. And I think right here is a good place to stop. And the second recording will launch right here. I'll trip the stairs once again at the beginning of the next recording of this. So if you watched any of that, for some reason, I don't know why you would, thank you. I guess you wanted me to compare me to other YouTubers or something. Thank you for watching it. And I'll do this again maybe next week. I don't know. I'm going to quit. And then I'm going to hit continue next time, right? So if I hit, I'm going to make sure that works. So if I hit continue, Okay, cool. Well, nice.